Welcome to DogFeedTV. This is our exclusive Growing Up Mi-Kis series. We will follow 2 litters of Mi-Kis, a rare toy breed, as they go from unable to see to chasing their tails. It will be an adorable journey, but also an educational one. Today, we are visiting the puppies for the first time. Lila's litter is only a week old. Her puppies are black and white. They're all girls except for one boy. His name is Edmonton. Then there's Lucy, Ethel, Scarlet, and Violet. Bunny's litter is 2 weeks older. Her puppies are all different kinds of colors. There's a black and white female named Rebel. A sable and white female, her name is Coco. There's also a sable and white male. We call him Barnabas. And then there's a rare color of Mi-Kis, Chocolate, which you'll see in this little guy. He's chocolate and white. He's known as Brisket. Larry Legend, as he's known, is full brother to Lila's pups and half brother to Bunny's litter. Both litters have the same sire, Tux. Isn't he handsome? The first 2 weeks of puppyhood is called the neonatal period. Lila's tiny babies can touch and taste, but they can't see. At birth, puppies are blind and deaf. They can't urinate or defecate on their own. Mom licks her babies to keep them clean and to stimulate them to go to the bathroom. At this age, the little furballs are also unable to regulate their own body temperature. Puppies rely on their mama and their brothers and sisters to keep warm. They love to pile up. It's a struggle at first, since their muscles aren't quite developed yet, and their coordination is a little off, but soon they're flipping and rolling around, edging their way to the snuggle mount. Sometimes they also receive supplemental heating. Here they use a heat source that goes underneath the pad. Oh, and they sleep a lot, and in turn, yawn just as much. For those first 2 weeks, it's all sleep and nursing and no play. They have to conserve all that energy to grow. It's amazing! Within the first 2 weeks, they can double in size. Check out Bunny's babies. Remember, they are 2 weeks older than Lila's litter. It's such a huge difference. Since they can't see, the pups use their smell and touch to find mama's milk. Her milk is high in nutrients like calcium, zinc, and magnesium. And this is really interesting. Dog milk naturally changes over the nursing period. The energy, fat, and calcium concentration varies over the lactation period depending on the baby's needs. We're now in the transitional stage, the first 13 to 20 days of puppyhood. We're mostly following Lila's litter this week. At birth, puppies' eyes and ears are sealed. During the second week of life, they start to open. Now we can see Lila's baby's eyes. They're beautiful, black to match the fur of her black and white pups. At first, their vision is blurry. You can tell they're slowly learning how to use their eyes and getting used to being able to see. For these litter mates, it must be interesting to learn what mommy looks like and whose tail has been in your face for the very first weeks of your life. Since they can now hear their siblings and mother, they begin to develop their own vocabularies. Mi-Kis are a relatively quiet breed of dog, but this is when the puppies will learn how to yelp, whine, and bark. The furballs start to interact with one another. They also begin to go to the bathroom without mom's help and control their own body functions. The furry babies take their first steps during the transitional stage, and just like human babies walking for the first time, lack in the grace department. And by the end of the transitional stage, their puppy teeth will begin to erupt. Just like in previous weeks, they still spend a lot of time in the snuggle mound and appear to be in some sort of contest for who yawns the most. Edmonton, the only boy in Lila's litter, is doing the worm. He navigates and pushes his way to find the perfect fit, right between his sisters, Scarlett and Lucy. In the process, Lucy is separated from her siblings, even gets stuck a little, but in the end, finds her place. Besides those beautiful eyes, the puppies also start to develop their other senses. Their senses don't fully start to work until the next week, so for now, they rest. The awareness period of puppyhood happens when puppies are 21 through 28 days or between 3 to 4 weeks old. At the same time, the canine socialization period begins, which is from the first 21 to 49 days or 3 to 7 weeks of the puppy's life. Lila's furry kids at this age are no longer dependent on her and find some independence. They struggled at first, but now they've got this walking thing down. During picture time, Lucy is apparently a bit shy, being stuck between all her litter mates, but as soon as she finally gets the hang of it, some of her siblings, Ethel and Edmonton, decide they're over all this attention. During the 4th week, Mom starts to wean her pups. In fact, Mom begins producing less milk, but that doesn't mean she's done nursing. Edmonton is searching and reaching for Mama's milk, but she walks away, which means not right now. The puppy's senses start to develop rapidly during the awareness stage. During this time, it's almost like there's a new litter of puppies roaming around. Their senses are alive and in full swing. The furballs slowly begin to learn about their world, and they are curious. From Bunny's litter, Barnabas on the left wonders why the camera is pointed at him and his sisters, but gets easily distracted. As for Coco, she's stuck inside Mr. Lamb, then realizes she's all alone. Where's everyone else? The awareness and socialization periods are critical stages in a puppy's development. As their senses grow, so do their characteristics and personalities. When playtime is over, even when they're resting, Bunny's babies are alert and listening. It's non-stop learning for them. Poor little Rebel doesn't want playtime to be over. You can see how she got that very fitting name. At this age, when puppies are around 3 to 4 weeks of age, the breeder should start exposing them to positive experiences and keep them away from negative ones. Any negative traits they develop now will often become permanent. Bunny's and Lila's litters are now just over 5 weeks old. This is the first time Bunny's babies have been outside of the house. They're cautious at first. Brisket, the chocolate and white puppy, wide-eyed, is still trying to figure out what grass is. Barnabas and Coco plow through the grass, making sure to stick together so they don't miss a single new smell. Soon the puppies get used to the great outdoors and are bouncing around roughhousing with each other. Brisket is no longer cautious. Now he's showing off his hunting skills. After too much playtime with their litter mates, the babies head back inside, where Dixie, their Cavalier King Charles Spaniel roommate, is waiting for them. Dixie should be given an award for being the most patient and gentle babysitter. From the first 3 to 12 weeks of a puppy's life, they are in what is called the socialization period of puppyhood. The socialization period is split into 2 phases: primary or canine socialization from 3 to 7 weeks, and secondary or human socialization from 7 to 12 weeks. The canine socialization period is just like it sounds. They learn how to be a dog from their littermates and mom. The puppies learn social skills, manners, proper etiquette, how to accept discipline, and bite inhibition. The babies learn to control the pressure of their mouths so they don't cause harm. If a puppy's bite is too rough, the other puppy will make a sharp yelping noise and stop playing. Mama is also part of the lesson. If one of her babies is biting down too hard during a play session, she will just get up and leave. Puppies should never be taken away from their mom or siblings before 8 weeks of age. Toy breeds like Mi-Kis, which are fragile when they are young, often stay with the breeder for longer than 8 weeks. A puppy that leaves its mom and littermates too soon will likely have behavior problems. They will have trouble getting along with other dogs, learning to inhibit their bite, and accept discipline from their human parents. It's during this period when a distinctive personality trait will emerge in Tux's children. As you may remember, Tux is the father of Lila's and Bunny's litters. He has this obsessive need to show off his favorite toy. In fact, Tux will edge his way into nearly every shot our poor videographer takes. He just wants to show her his keys. He will do this for hours on end. Tux is eager to teach Lila's babies how it's done. Ethel wants to show her dad she knows how to do it, but sometimes the ball is just a bit too big for her tiny mouth. Another Tuxism is his walk, which is more like a march. Lucy is the one baby who seems to have inherited his adorable gait. Lila's kids also play with their brother Larry Legend. He likes to wrestle with the pups and is a big part of their growth as they form important social relationships during the canine socialization period. During the human socialization period, pups have the brain waves of adult dogs. This is also the time they leave their mom and littermates and start their new lives with human families. But before we get to the goodbyes, let's see what happens to the puppies during these important few weeks. At 7 weeks of age, Bunny's children run full speed, excited to get in some quality playtime. The puppies develop a pack hierarchy, a pecking order through play. In this litter, Rebel wants everyone to know she's top dog. Mr. Blue Ducky is mine, not yours, Brisket. This type of play may seem intense, but is perfectly normal. They're just speaking dog as they figure out the dominant and submissive ones in the pack. After getting away from Rebel, Brisket tries to get a hold of some keys. But Barnabas, the sable and white dog, has other plans. Brisket decides he can only take so much and takes care of the problem as nicely as he can. This is an extremely critical time. Whatever a puppy learns during the human socialization period will become part of his or her personality. Canine researchers say things puppies learn during this period will be permanent. This period is when puppies learn the fastest. They should start training at this time and learning their doggy manners. The following week, Bunny's puppies are back to play. But first, some of them are given a new look. At 8 weeks of age, they are growing fast. Brisket has developed a new interest in seeing what it's like to fly. The playtime cot is now the official Mi-Kis launching pad. Meanwhile, Rebel has decided it is her sole duty as top dog to destroy the pad. Lucky for Brisket, Rebel only has baby teeth for now. At about 8 weeks, puppies should be nearly weaned from their mom. Bunny cares about her babies, so she gives in once in a while. But since they have sharp baby teeth, Bunny has no choice but to push them away. Again and again, Bunny tells the pups no more. The puppy's diet consists mostly of solid foods during this time. They eat family style, everyone sharing the same bowl. But Rebel, forever being the, rebel, decides she would rather savor morsels of food on her own. When Bunny's litter grow into their 9th week, they are joined by Lila's litter as they race down the hallway for a group play date. This is the first time they're playing together. A group roughhousing session is a good way for both litters to associate with more dogs. But after a while, the older puppies start picking on the younger ones, so they are separated. Lila's baby Lucy, who has inherited a delightful gait from her dad, makes a new dance move. What should we call it? The sideways march? Meanwhile, Edmonton is determined to find out what is making that thing jingle. A special treat during playtime, the puppy's favorite babysitter, Dixie, has returned. Dixie is such a pushover when it comes to cute puppies. It's hard for her to say no when she's being attacked. In fact, she just lets them do whatever they want. As for Bunny's litter, now 9 weeks old, playtime has turned into mayhem. Rebel, reinforcing her place as top dog, works hard to hold on to Mr. Owl as Brisket does his best to put up a fight. Barnabas doesn't want to be left out and somehow squeezes his way in. After working it out with Rebel, Brisket can't wait to get back to flying again. But on his next landing, he misses the blanket. Phew, it looks like Coco is fine. And now, the sad part. Well, sad for us, but not for the puppies. Rebel and Barnabas are the first to leave the nest for their forever homes. Many breeders believe in the 49th day rule, which means a puppy is taken away from his dog family on the 49th day of its life. But there are also breeders who think puppies should stay with their dog family for longer. In fact, toy breeds like Mi-Kis are especially fragile when they are young, so they usually stay longer than 8 weeks. Here at the Mi-Ki house in Scottsdale, Arizona, the breeder sends out her puppies off to their forever homes when they are between 10 to 12 weeks of age. Bye-bye, Rebel and Barnabas. Good luck with your new families. With less puppies running around, Lila's and Bunny's litters play together more often. The pups continue to work out their differences in the evolving pack hierarchy, or packing order. Now that Rebel's gone, Brisket is the leader of the pack. And he doesn't back down when Edmonton tries to get near the bully stick treats. When a puppy is between 8 to 11 weeks of age, it enters into what is known as the fear imprint subperiod. This period is characterized by rapid development, but also fearfulness. If a puppy perceives an event as traumatic during this time, it could affect it for its entire life. Owners and breeders will notice puppies that were once blindly jumping into things will become more cautious. Lucy at 9 weeks is taking it slow as she meets her neighbors, the goats. She decides to sit still and not make a sound. Maybe then they won't notice her. During this time, a puppy may generalize a scary experience and develop an avoidance response that could become permanent. Owners or breeders should avoid frightening a puppy and stay away from potentially scary situations or loud noises. Anything can set a puppy off during this time. Lucy jumps and hides after hearing the unfamiliar, harmless sound of a chair sliding across the tile floor. Puppies should never be shipped during the fear imprint subperiod, and only necessary vet visits should be made. If a puppy must be taken to a vet, owners and breeders should go to great lengths to make the experience fun. Above all, keep in mind, the fear imprint subperiod is only a stage in puppyhood. Within a few weeks, your puppy should no longer behave this way. Thanks for joining us for our last installment of Growing Up Mi-Ki. At the breeders, Matthias Mi-Kis in Scottsdale, Arizona, the remaining pups are spending some quality time with their siblings. 2 puppies, Brisket and Coco from Bunny's litter, are staying in Scottsdale for now. Lucy is the only pup from Lila's litter that'll be sticking around. Ethel is spending the last few days with her family before she is sent off to her forever home in the Midwest. With so few left, the puppies focus on working out their differences. Brisket is still top dog and maintains his spot as the pack leader. He is determined to have all the best toys and treats. When his sister Coco finally gets a hold of Mr. Ferret, Brisket tries his best to steal him away. Remarkably, Coco manages to keep Mr. Ferret for herself, for now anyway. Let's check in with the other puppies and see how things are going for them in their new homes. Ethel, now called Peekaboo, escaped the heat and is enjoying lake life in the Midwest with her sister Bella. She spends her days out on the water and loves watching geese. Patsy Lou, formerly known as Violet, spends her summers in St. Paul, Minnesota, and winters in her hometown of Scottsdale, Arizona. She loves playing hide and go seek, but her favorite part of the day is getting belly rubs from Mom. Edmonton changed his name to Sumo. He moved north to Canada, where he explores lakes and rivers on a kayak. Rebel now answers to Maddie Mae. She's enjoying her new life in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Her favorite things to do are to play chase with her dad and go on missions for lost sticks. Scarlett, now Molly, moved south to Tucson, Arizona, where she has her very own horse. Pepper, once known as Barnabas, loves spending time with his new brothers, Mr. Nibbles the cat and Sparky, his half-brother. He lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania during the summer and resides in Scottsdale during the winter. Thanks for joining us on this adorable journey. We hope you've had as much fun watching the series as we've had putting it together. And stay tuned to DogFeedTV. There's a lot more cuteness to come.